That night, you go to the jazz concert in the park with Ellie. You can tell she is enjoying the upbeat, brassy music. She gets up to swing dance with you during a few of the numbers. But you can tell something is troubling her, and you ask her what's on her mind.
Return of Mr. Mulder says, expect money from me? Thank you!
Thanks. I don't know if you've been following your own coverage in the popular media, she says uncomfortably. Uh-oh. But there's this sketch comedy show, TGIFF, that did a skit about you last night, and it's been making the YouTube rounds. Is this like a world entirely populated by different versions of us?
It's destiny. I am controlling all of it.
Ian is everything. You guys were right. The prophecies are coming true. This should get better as it gets later, because the closest I ever come to being drunk is being tired. So... someone at work showed it to me, she says. You sigh. I guess it portrayed me as some kind of mad scientist, right? Ellie hesitates. Someone was playing me in it too, she says quietly. Oh. I mean, they don't really know anything about me, but I guess they know what I look like, so they made fun of that, Ellie says unhappily. So they're being racist? Is that what's going on?
I mean, to be fair, like, it may be casual racism, because we've talked about the casual racism before, or the pointed racism here, but to be fair, we know an awful lot about what Ellie looks like.
Yeah, I don't know why they go into such detailed descriptions of like everything she wears in this game. And in the skit, I'm like this idiot who doesn't realize that you're actually spending all your time with Ian, who's like your sex bot.
The chat will enjoy that. Laser Control says, hashtag Ian Illuminati confirmed. I like it.
Ian's like a child, you say, not a sex bot. Anyway, I was wondering if you could maybe stay out of the limelight a little more, Ellie says. I'd like to be seen for who I am, not as your satellite. Alright, and we have 3 responses. I'm sorry, I'll do everything I can to stay out of the limelight from now on. Fame is not what it's cracked up to be. Well, I can't really help it if people write stories about me, but I promise not to actually seek out more attention. Or I can't promise that. I'm going to be even more famous, I just know it. If you can't accept that, we won't be a good match for each other.
Uh-oh!
I personally want to go for the second one.
I don't think the first one is good for us. We don't have money.
I kind of do want to stay, yeah.
We don't have anything going for us except the fame. So, like, going back on that is just basically going back to being a grad student but suckier.
I think this will help us get money and we don't need to seek out any more attention like that says. But just leave it as it is. It's a YouTube sketch. I mean, don't worry about it, woman. Come on.
I mean... Like,
Speak from experience.
I can't
They
promise...
don't actually care. They're just making stuff because it's funny.
I'm going to be even more famous. I just know if you can't accept... I mean, I don't think that's necessary.
Obviously not the last one.
Yeah.
That's a little bit... You think the responses might change as your relationship changes with these people? Like, maybe it wouldn't include the one where it just, like, destroy this relationship retroactively?
I'm trying to remember if I had these exact options when I got to this point.
Yeah, actually... I'm wondering how specific it is, like how much text changes based on how you've interacted with people and stuff like that. Because it seems like it would be more versatile being only a text-based thing.
I mean, I know some, like, I mean, in my game, that first night, Ellie and I went all the way.
Oh.
Because I didn't grouse at her touching my hair. So we had that relationship about it. So I know that it is dependent on your relationship, at least the result. Even if you choose the same options. After a certain, number of different options. So, I don't know. Because I remember this question, and I remember how I answered it, and I'm not sure if that answer is here right now.
I think I'm gonna go with the second one. Well, I can't help it if people write stories about me, but I promise not to actually seek out any more attention.
That also gives us an excuse to stay away from Mark.
Yeah. Who have had mostly enough of by this point. I guess that's as good as I can hope for, Ellie says ruefully. Ellie, just... come on. It's not that big of a deal. You nod, I think so. From here, your evening is a little less cheerful, but at least your relationship is intact.
Man, we're cruising like a solid 6 on everything in life.
Yeah. We're playing the Michael Cera of this game. Alright, where are we on stats currently? I'm kind of curious.
Ian, have you ever considered taking into class with Rachel? I don't think that's allowed.
What is it? What do you
The
ask?
student is asking if I would ever come into class with Rachel.
To her class?
Yeah.
Oh, the student's asking.
Yeah. I don't think person show and tell works out on
Past elementary school.
but I don't know. I may eventually show up at some external function or something.
You put on like a white lightning event somewhere there.
Or like, I don't know, there's like Latin club parties they do or something. Are you part of the Latin club laser control? You better be, it's good stuff. I keep pointing towards the computer screen because that's where the chat is, but I realize that actually...
They're over there. Alright, so our fame is 2. Our humanity is down to 66% now. I thought we were doing better at that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it because we were mean to Silas? Because I'm okay with that. Silas is a creepy stalker who's going to kill us.
Yeah.
Ian's stats are currently 9 autonomy, 7 in military, 21 in empathy. Empathy
Which
is
counts
now
as impressive.
impressive. Grace is 13. Our relationships,
Good call, laser
Ellie
control.
is at 63%, so it's gone down by 1. Mark is still great. Silas is great still.
At 83?
83%.
Why do we have the best relationship with Silas?
I don't know.
That is... always for the snacks. It's okay. Our number 1 recruitment tactic for Latin Club was free pizza, and it works. Promise. We doubled the membership every single time. Totally worth it.
The next day, you get a call from your mother. Oddly, she chooses not to use video at all. Rosie, I have some bad news for you. Oh crap, something's gonna have happened to our dad. Because we didn't say anything. Ugh. She says there's a heaviness in her voice that you've never heard before that fills you with dread. You're completely unprepared for what comes next.
Well, that's just not true.
Your father passed away last night. Well, god dang it.
You want me to make
That's
it
our
better?
fault, isn't it?
You want me to make it better? It's not your fault.
It's not?
No, it's a thing.
Okay.
It is a set. So, the other way that it happens,
Yeah.
if you accept the Glendale call, it is a talk show host.
Oh.
And he puts you up on a talk show where it increases your fame by like 5. You go through like all this and you're, it's wildly successful. The bot hits it off with the host. I mean, I'm sure that depends on your bot stats and
Yeah.
everything else. You get some funding from it. It's great. And then you get the call, like, you didn't pick up the other night, but now your father is dead.
Ah.
So.
At least we called him one more time, I guess.
Yeah. There are other implications with the father call, but
It's too late for this crap.
that's later. So anyway, we took a totally fine middle. I took the Glendale route. You may remember I cracked wise about your mom calling to say your dad died earlier on.
I don't.
I did though. People listening, they'll remember. Your father's funeral is a simple graveside affair with just a few attendees. The casket is sitting on a metal gurney next to the hole into which it will eventually be lowered after everyone has gone. There are no trappings of any faith, since your father was not religious himself, nor did he have many close friends. Just the ones you know came. Just the ones you know
About the
came.
ones.
You find yourself sitting in the front row next to Ian, who was not explicitly invited, but was not explicitly prohibited either. Ian seems overwhelmed by the sadness in the air. You've never seen him so glum. Your mother, wearing a black dress and veil, goes up to stand next to the casket. It's not often that my English degree comes in handy, as Bill would have been quick to point out, she says with a wry smile. It is just us. But on a few occasions, I find none of my own words seem sufficient. So I'd like to begin with a favorite passage of ours. She begins.
Yeah, take the passage.
Full fathom 5 thy father lies. Or, to everything there is a season. Or, do not despise death, but be well content with it.
Do you recognize any of these?
So they are specific quotes, as a matter of fact. I didn't realize that at first, but clearly, since you're making the choice for your mother, she knows what these are. I don't think it's cheating to look them up. So the first one is, as far as I can tell, without spending more time analyzing it, kind of a, well, that sucks, and kind of a tragic take on it, poetically. The second one is a, But be well content, for there is beauty in everything, even this death. The third one is a stiff upper lip, for this is how all things must go. The second one is the most optimistic, but also it's religious. So, then again, she does just say, you'd be quick to point out that my English degree doesn't matter, so, it's for the comfort of people. Your choice, Kyle. I picked one and I know which one to pick, so.
It's a funeral. Be nice about it. I'll go with the second one.
Okay. Meanwhile, Ian's going to explode. Lol. Breathe, Ian. Since when do you not spend all your time overanalyzing? Oh, I'm going to do it. I'm just not going to do it on stream. I'll do it while we're reading the next thing. What happens?
Alright. Oh, and then she reads it off. Although, clearly not all of it, because that's not the entire quote. Alright.
Mom clears her throat. Bill was never one for religion, so I feel a little guilty quoting Ecclesiastes over him. Thank you. But I'd like to think he would agree with the sentiment, that this too is the natural way of things. When we talked about his fainting spells and then strokes, he always seemed relatively calm about it. When it's time to go, he said. Meanwhile, I don't want everyone to worry about me. Bill wanted you to take advantage of your time to laugh. You could mourn him later. And now that he is gone, it's right for us to be sad. It's also right for us to one day laugh again. You glance at Ian, who seemed very interested in this idea that there is a time and place for everything, plus grace, plus empathy. You sit through a few more of your father's friends, giving recollections of him. He was brilliant, they say, but you also get the feeling he was not always there for his friends, that he was lost in his own world. They never said he was kind, or they never say he was kind, or that he was full of love. Indeed, he always seemed distant to you as well. After the service, you walk up to your father's casket and place your hand on it. What have you resolved to do in light of his death?
Feel like this is a bit of a message to us.
Pink Sheep is leaving. Bye, Pink Sheep.
Bye, Pink Sheep. Thanks for sticking around. Alright, so we have a list of resolutions that we can make. We have, I must work on technology that is better able to remove tumors like the one Dad had. We have built a robot that's supposed to be good at surgery with his multi-tool hands and who is empathetic towards people who would agree with us on that point. So that's not a bad option.
I'm not sure if grace or empathy is the more operative quality for a surgeon bot, but I think
he's pretty high on both. Those are his two best qualities.
He's like double on empathy what he is on grace, though. But I think while that's a good resolution, I wonder if it doesn't kind of miss the point of the sentiment.
Yeah. I must not be remembered for only my intellect, but for my kindness as well.
That might give us a humanity bump that we kind of might need.
I must find out more about why Dad died and whether I'm genetically at risk.
Clinical, but clinical.
Moved by the quote from Ecclesiastes, I decide I must remember to experience everything life has to offer.
That seemed like a nothing answer.
I feel like maybe making a decision now that ups our humanity a little bit more would be more helpful and wouldn't necessarily eliminate the option to specialize in a surgical bot or something.
Yeah. I mean, we're really good at empathy and grace. We kind of need to pick me up on humanity.
Yeah.
So.
Second one then? Just, I must not be remembered only for my intellect, but for my kindness as well.
Sure.
That could lead to good decisions later on, I think.
That's cruel. Everyone gets donuts. Just got off work, so hello. Hi, Brognick.
Hi, Brognick. See, we'll be getting new people in, because everybody's on a different schedule. This is what's nice about having fans in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, that's what we're going with. Looking next. You realize that you take after your father, often too absorbed in your own projects to look out for the people around you. You resolve that from this point forward, that you will strive to be more mindful of how you can serve others. After that sobering experience, you realize that it's finally time to decide what to do with yourself now.
Thank God.
What have you decided to do for a living?
First, show stats. Let's see if we got a humanity bump.
Okay. Humanity is now at 83. That was a big jump.
Woo!
That was from 66. That was a good... That did what we thought it was going to do. And Ian's empathy is 22 currently. Ian being the robot we built, for any of you new people, we named him Ian.
I myself was busy being a god of the multi-universe at the time. Brogan is from Ohio, just a chef. Not just a chef. Anybody who makes food is more than just an anything. You are a food maker, and that makes you great.
Alright, so our options for what we're going to do now that we've had this epiphany are I will join Josh's company, US Robots, which I don't know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
I will start my own company, or forget this bourgeois crap. I'm going to go live broke but free.
No, we are taking a clear steer away from my life.
Start my own company, I think, is the correct option here. Because I don't know anything about Josh or US Robots.
Also, US Robots? Come on.
Alright, so we're starting our own company. We deciding that now?
I think that's good. We've been trying to do that for a while, just without Silas baggage.
What will you call your company? Alright guys, company names. Give some suggestions. Is there an acronym of Ian that we can retroactively create? International Android.
No, there was Interactive Android Network or
International Android
Nursing.
I kind of like the.
We don't want to actually marry ourselves to the.
What was that one that we said? Interactive Android Network? Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm. Something about real feel-good robots.
Interactive Android Network's not bad.
I feel like. I mean, it gets the point across. Interactive, like people to people, and Android and networks, and I mean, it does it. It's totally sufficient. That's
Name it after Ian.
That
sounds good to me.
Wait. Give me another minute. Like, I'm feeling that there's something that's just like right there. Touchy-feely, emotional robots that go past and expand past the normal concept. You might call them metabots.
Metabots. So some of you may have watched a show called Metabots, Medabots, which was an anime show a while ago, back when I was a kid. The weird thing is that we're not entirely sure it existed until I remembered it. It was this really weird moment in me and Ethan were, I think, at our art studio that we teach at, and something made me think of this, like, the main character. It was a really weird moment because I just suddenly remembered, like, do you guys remember this robot show where there was, like, this orange robot and he had, like weird antennas that, like, shot rockets or something? It was like Metabots or something. And so then we started talking, and Ethan and some of the other kids in there were like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that. And it was like, his voice was really deep, and he sounded like Vin Diesel, and we were like, oh yeah, that's right. And there were like little toys of him. Wait, I had little toys of them. Wait, I had a ton of toys of them. Wait, I had VHS tapes of this show, and we suddenly realized that, like, we had this whole interaction with this TV show over our childhoods that we forgot completely until right, and then we started, like, remembering it, and it was, it was this really weird thing that reminded us of that weird Reddit story of, what was the show called?
Oh, the Candlelight Cove.
Candlelight Cove, yeah, which is this, was it like an art creepy story or something?
Creepypasta, yeah. The idea of there being a guy who goes up and he's like in his late teens or early 20s, and he's talking to a friend of his and go, hey, I just had this weird thought. You ever remember sitting around and watching a show called Candlelight Cove? His friend goes, oh yeah, what was up with that, huh? And they go around, they try and like talk to their friend, oh yeah, I remember that. And then he goes back to his mom and he says, hey, whatever happened to that old show I used to watch, Candlelight Cove? And he goes, you never watched any show called Candlelight Cove? But I do remember you sitting in front of the TV for hours watching Static. And all of the friends go to their mothers and they all say the same thing.
So yeah, Metabots is basically real life Candlelight Cove. So yeah, we've named our robot company Metabots, Metabots. You have decided that the surest way to change the world is with your own company. And indeed, Metabots will have far-reaching impact, starting with Josh, who texts you a short message the day you're first covered in the Wall Street Journal +1 fame. Welcome to the Shark Tank. We have finished Chapter 3.